Welcome to another special edition of Ringside Rumble with your boys Steiny and Beach. We are doing episode 2 to crown the greatest tag team championship team of all time. We did the first 2 brackets a couple of weeks ago. It's taken a little bit to get back to the second round, but here we are. Steiny, my brother, how you doing? It's been a minute. What's going on?
No, everything's good. Just ready to talk some tag team wrestling.
Let's get it going here. Okay. The number 1 seed against the number 8 seed.
I think
The
first
number
of
one
all, back up.
Go ahead.
Parameters. We are in the 2000s, early 2000s to about 2010-ish. I think we figured here, early 2010s. But this era is early 2000s through early 2010s.
Yes, I always forget to throw that up there. I always kind of jump the gun on everything. But okay, so we got that out of the way. So we got the number 1 seed against the number 8 seed. We got the Dudleys, Devon, Bubba, Bully Ray, whatever you want to call them, against Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo at the number 8 seed. The Dudleys have a total of 23, probably more, championships, and Eddie and Chavo have 2 that we could find, both in WWE. They might have something in AAA, CMLL, something, but that's the tail of the tape. Your first thoughts, and I think this is an obvious choice.
Yeah, my first thought that this could have been a bye. This is the Dudleys in a squash.
Yes.
Dudleys all day, every day.
Yes, I agree. The Dudleys are one of our favorite tags of all time. Like we talked about in our last episode, Demolition. We completely agreed on that. Should we just put the Dudleys over and move on?
Yeah, the Dudleys are probably what got me most interested in tag team wrestling after watching them in ECW. I mean, I know we watched Demolition back in the day, but ECW Dudleys were on a whole nother level. Just incredible.
And then the stuff that they did in WWE when they introduced the tables. I mean, we talked about in our last episode how Public Enemy brought the tables into play. The Dudleys introduced them more to a mainstream audience.
Yep.
Hell, they even put Mae Young through a freaking table, for Christ's sake.
And we'll spend more time with the Dudleys when we move on, but Dudleys are definitely they're on top here in this matchup.
Yes, let's put the Duds over. I already had them written down to go over, so that was pretty easy. Okay, the number 4 and 5 matchup. The number 4 seed is Edge and Christian. They used to be brothers. Now they're just best friends. And against the Outsiders, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. This is an interesting matchup. I was kind of surprised that you. Sorry to interrupt you. I was kind of surprised that you matched these guys up at a 4 and 5. But this is going to be a little bit fun to talk about here for a minute. I'm excited about this show. I'm excited about this matchup. You go.
I think when you look at 1 through 8 here, it's tough to seed these guys, and they've just happened to fall next to each other at 4 and 5. It's 2 tag teams that are primarily known as singles wrestlers, let's say now, right? Like Edge and Christian, obviously, I think they were singles. They came together and then they went apart. The Outsiders started, in WWE. They were singles wrestlers, weren't even a tag team really in WWE at all, and then go to WCW and then NWO forms, and they're a tag team, but they're also singles wrestlers at the same time. Tag team, then they split apart, they're singles. But really, we talk about our dislike for the tag teams that are thrown together by singles wrestlers, and it is a little bit of this here, but absolutely not thrown together. They were together.
This is one of them that absolutely worked.
Absolutely, 100%. Both of them. Just I've never been a huge like I'll say Edge or Christian fan. Um, just not my thing. But as a tag team, the work they did with the Dudleys and the Hardys in WWE was absolutely insane. And then from a the outsider standpoint, them in the NWO, they're the I mean they're the first two members of the NWO, right?
Both of these teams were groundbreaking in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely groundbreaking. When Scott came down on that episode of Nitro, and then Kevin showed up a couple of weeks later, and then you throw Hollywood Hogan, in there, which obviously Hogan has nothing to do with this tournament. But just to mention that's how Scott and Kevin became a tag team, was because of Hogan had to be on his own, right? And with Edge and Christian, you got two of them that were both multi-time world champions. They were 7-time tag team champions, all in the WWE. Scott and Kevin, as the outsiders, were 6-time tag team champions with WCW, and then 5 in WCW. They won 1 in TNA. And that was well past their prime. We all know that. What do you? I know what I think, and it's the guys that you don't like. We'll put it that way. I love all 4 guys. I love all 4 guys' work. I think Edge and Christian have to move here. I think they have to go over.
I mean, I don't like them. I can respect the fact that as a tag team they were incredible, and I would also select Edge and Christian to move on through here.
Okay. So one other thing I want to point out to the viewers is that once we break this down a little bit more, we're probably going to get a little combative and have arguments about who goes over. But we decided before this tournament started that if we can't decide one or the other, and if nobody wants to give, we're just going to flip a flipping coin.
Right.
So that's how we're going to do this. So Edge and Christian. Yeah, so it's right. So Edge and Christian move. Okay. So let's go on to the next matchup. We got the number 3 seeded the New Age Outlaws against the number 6 seeded APA. So you got Road Dogg Billy against Bradshaw Farouk. The Outlaws have 6 titles. I think they're all in WWE. I didn't break that down. That's beside the point. APA have 3, all WWE. The Outlaws both teams were an immense part of the Attitude Era. There's no question about that. It's all about who do you think was the better tag team?
I think Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Jesse James, they're the better tag team of this group. I think Bradshaw and I guess we're calling him Farouk.
Farouk. Yeah.
Bradshaw and Farouk, Ron Simmons, whatever we're calling, what whoever. Great.
Whichever day it is, right?
So, real badass tag team. They were just beating dudes up. They were bar fighters, right? They were very entertaining. The APA was a very entertaining group, but not to the extent of the New Age Outlaws. I don't think that APA ever reached the level of the New Age Outlaws. If I'm not mistaken, the APA started. Remember when they were the Acolyte Protection Agency back in the day?
Yep. Yep. Well, that's the acronym.
Yeah. The DX movement and the New Age Outlaws being part of that far overshadow anything the APA ever did.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah.
I think we know, and I think they go over, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we got that one. The next bracket up, we have the number 7 seed, the Bar, which, if you don't remember the Bar, that was Sheamus and Claudio Castagnoli, otherwise known as.
Why are you
Not
pointing at
that
me?
was
Say it.
that was your turn to say
You got to work that out in pre-show.
it. Okay, Cesaro, and against the number 2 seed, the Hardys. The Bar has 5.
Yeah.
They have 5 tag team championships. And the Hardys obviously have many more. They have 12. This is within a number of promotions: WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. They actually won the NXT titles last year. So they just keep expanding, and they're still working to this day. And the Bar, mind you, they won their 5 titles in 3 years of working together. So they had a really solid run.
Mm-hmm.
They had a really solid run. This was I'm gonna give you credit here. This was a really good pick for you to put in this tournament, because when I looked at the brackets when you first sent them to me, and I said the Bar, I'm like, what the hell is the Bar? And I had to look it up. I didn't remember, and then it just like boom, it just popped into my head. It's like, oh, yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Is there even a hardcore conversation here, or is this just a simple Hardys go over?
No, I think the Hardys are definitely the better tag team here, just on longevity alone. And but I just wanted to, and I think you did a good job of it, is highlighting, the Bar's place in tag team history. 5 tag team championships is nothing to, laugh at. They
Hell, it's
are,
more than Heart Foundation had.
yeah, and they're also the team that ended New Day's 483-day tag team championship reign. So
There you go.
the Bar, Sheamus and Claudio Castagnoli, let's just call him Cesaro, because come
Okay,
on, he
that's
WWE
easier.
Cesaro's
It's
easier to
easier.
say. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
they deserve to be recognized as a top level tag team. They did a great job. But far and away, the Hardy Boys are the Hardys are they're the team here without question.
Yeah, this is another squash, I think, right?
Yeah, not maybe as bad as the Dudleys and the Los Guerreros, but it is.
Okay. Let's move on. So we got the next bracket, and the final one of the first round. The number 1 seed, Nick and Matt Jackson, the
And
Young Bucks.
again, the era of this is essentially today.
The right today's era. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. I always miss that. Okay, the Young Bucks. So we've got a Bullet Club matchup here, right?
Yeah.
We got the Young Bucks against Gallows and Anderson. The Young Bucks have 20 plus championships. Now, this includes obviously they were the inaugural AEW champions. They won multiple in New Japan, multiple in Ring of Honor, indie circuit, probably your mother's favorite promotion, your grandma's favorite promotion, la-di-da-di-da. Okay.
IWGP, that's probably the other big one there.
Yes. Gallows and Anderson, most of theirs came in Japan. They did win a few in WWE. They have 7 plus. So let's not discount the fact that, maybe they only had 1 or 2. They're an outstanding tag team. And obviously these guys are good friends, so they enjoyed working together. This is a good matchup. I like the way that you put this together. I think it's a no-brainer, but I want to make sure that we give props to Gallows and Anderson for the work that they've done and the work that they're continuing to do.
Yeah, the Good Brothers are a great tag team. This isn't a team that was like thrown together. This is a team. This is a true tag team, and they've essentially been that way since their time in New Japan. No matter where they've gone, I actually saw them wrestle. First time I saw them wrestle ever was at a little VFW hall show in West Allis, Wisconsin. Kind of a crazy thing on the same card as Shane Douglas. That was
No shit, really
crazy night. It's also the same place I saw Matt Hardy wrestle a match once during his time between WWE and TNA. So
cheapers.
Got a first row with Gallows and Anderson tag match. But that being said, the Bucks are in a league of their own in this era probably, and it's we'll get further into the Bucks when we get in future matchups, but the Young Bucks go over here for sure.
Yep, completely agree. Okay, this next matchup, I don't know if we're going to disagree. I think we're going to be on the same page, but there are some things that I found out about one of these teams that I was completely unaware of. So we have the number 4 seed, the Usos, against the number 5 seed, the Briscoe brothers. Now, obviously, we are unfortunately without one of the Briscoe brothers today. The Usos have 9 championships, all WWE. The Briscoes have 5 plus.
Between like 14 plus.
Or I'm sorry, 15 plus. I read that wrong. 15 plus. Yeah. Most of them Ring of Honor, TNA, New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan.
Yep. They were huge over there. I'm really not that familiar with the Briscoes. I wasn't really that familiar with them at all until we lost one of them. And then I started looking back and watching some matches and stuff. They had that dog collar match with FTR, which was holy shit, right? The Usos, I mean, that they stand on their own. They are one of the best of our era, at least, right? What say you?
Usos are incredible, absolutely incredible. I think they carried WWE tag team wrestling for a time there.
They still do.
Do they?
Because what's left of the tag team division?
Yeah, what's left of the tag team division in WWE? Do they? And Jimmy can't even go. They're just on TV with Roman, but honestly, the Briscoes are a better tag team. They are. They just never got the shot at the mainstream. I don't know that they could have gotten a shot at the mainstream because of how they were almost too violent for the mainstream. I don't know how the Briscoes would have gone over in WWE.
I don't think they would have survived.
Yeah, had Jay lived, they'd have been bigger in AEW. That's where we're at. And I mean, Mark is doing a great job there now. But they're the better tag team in my mind. I think the Usos are great, but I think the Briscoes are better. And it's just because maybe it's just from I've been exposed to them a little bit more. I had seen them a little bit more than you have. I could argue either way, but thinking about this, I made kind of made up my mind that the Briscoes were better.
So you would take the Briscoes over the Usos, who have the longest reigning.
Yeah, because I think
the longest reign in WWE history, which the previous reign lasted for 28 years.
What?
Demolition had the previous reign.
No, a tag team reign. Your tag team championship reign is from start to finish. It's not 28 years.
No, what you understand what I'm saying, because we talked about this after our last show, because you misunderstood what I was saying. But the reign that they had that Demolition had for 470 days or whatever. That lasted 28 years before somebody broke that reign.
Yeah. And the New Day broke it. Yeah. And then the Usos broke the New Day record. I get that. Longevity because there are trash tag teams doesn't make it a huge.
You just said the Usos are a trash tag team.
No, I said longevity because there are trash tag teams. Who are they going to wrestle?
They're okay. Okay,
They
I
didn't have a
understand.
choice. They had to be the tag team champion because there was nothing else out there.
I think this is a coin flip.
How strongly do you feel about the Usos? That's the question.
Much stronger than I feel about the Briscoes.
If you had to put 10-1. Like if you
10 to 1 what?
1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much stronger do you feel about the Usos than the Briscoes?
8 to 2.
All right, then we can go with the Usos because I'm not that much oversold on the Briscoes over the Usos. I'm fine with moving it forward if you feel more strongly about it.
Yeah, I do. I do.
It's an opportunity for you to go watch more Briscoe stuff.
Maybe that's what it is then.
But
yeah.
We'll put the Usos over.
Okay. So it's starting to heat up here. See, this is what's going to be fun about this tournament.
I'm telling you, when we get to the round of 16, I think it gets from a
viewer
standpoint probably a little more entertaining.
Yeah. I texted you before we started the show, and I said that I think this is going to be a fun one. So, okay, so here we go. We got the number 3 seed, FTR, against the number 6 seed, the God, which I'm not sure how many people are familiar with this. I was not. I had to look this up. They're part of the bloodline.
Well, not anymore.
Well, they're in the bloodline, as in like the actual bloodline, right?
Yeah.
The Gorillas of Destiny. So a little background: Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga.
Tongaloa. Tama Tonga, Tongaloa.
Okay, well, Google told me differently, but I'll go with what you said. Okay. Well, they have 7 IWGP championships, a Ring of Honor, and a Never Open. They were also a part of the Bullet Club, which I had no idea. FTR, we know about FTR. They also have 9 championships. So both teams have 9 championships. I'm going to refer to you on this because you are much more familiar with the God than I am, because I had to do a lot of research to find out what was going on here. Yep. FTR obviously is on TV every week or every other week. It's easy to find them. I'll let you lead the conversation here, brother.
Yeah, it's a 3-6 matchup. I mean, the Gorillas of Destiny, God, they're very good, very, very good in IWGP or New Japan. Really a vital part of the Bullet Club during.
And that was that the original?
No,
Bullet Club before it expanded, or was that after it expanded?
This is after. They weren't part of the original. It was after that it expanded. When it started, it was 4 guys. It wasn't any, and they weren't in it. But I mean, were they? Anyway, they are absolutely a big part of Bullet Club history, right? Great tag team, a lot of championships. Completely fizzled out when they came to America. Completely fizzled out. Whether it was because they were just kind of overshadowed by the rest of the bloodline in WWE, probably I don't feel like they were used right in WWE at all.
Do you think that they took that WWE and or other American promotions kind of took their style away from them?
Yeah, they did. They tried to
Americanize them.
Yeah, essentially, but they wasn't that far off in Japan. I think they tried to make them part of the bloodline story as opposed to letting them be their own thing. FTR, and again, FTR, the Revival in WWE. WWE did this exact same thing with them, but not so much from we're going to put him with a family. They tried to make him into a clown show. This is
Yes,
one of
they did.
the FTR is one of the greatest tag teams out there. When the Revival were in NXT, they were maybe the best tag team going.
Agreed.
And WWE crapped all over them. Right? Absolutely crapped on them. They go over to AEW and they get their chance, and they're absolutely stars. They're tag team stars. They are an old school tag team in a new era, and they stand out amongst their peers. Great tag team. One of my favorites ever.
The way that I see FTR, it's almost like a clone of the Brainbusters. You know, with Arn and Tully and Dax and Cash. I mean, they even use the Spike Pile Driver. They're using Spine Buster. They're using all these things, and that's not a bad thing. That's a huge compliment to those guys, and they're great on the mic. They're just a fantastic, tag team all the way around. So.
Yep.
Who are we going here? FTR?
Oh, FTR for sure.
Okay, we're getting low on time here. So our last matchup of the first round is the number 7 seed, the Motor City Machine Guns, who have 4 maybe plus championships, and the New Day, the recently released New Day.
Both teams recently released.
Yeah, exactly. The New Day has got 12. Squash.
Essentially, yes. You sort of run out of when you run into the best tag teams of each era. The 2-7 and 1-8 matchups kind of end up being there's a lot of good tag teams out there, but there are teams that set themselves way above the other ones. And the New Day is one of those tag teams. And as good as I think the Motor City Machine Guns are, they're not the New Day.
Right. And with the New Day, I mean, the 3 members, you got to remember Big E, right? And you've got 2 world champions in that group. Single world heavyweight champions in that group. I think that's an easy pick for the New Day to go over there.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. First round's complete. We will update the brackets. We will come back with episode 3. And keep narrowing this down. Steiny, this was a fun one. And
I would anticipate round of 16 will start to get heated, and it'll start to get real good. Business is about to pick up.
No shit. Yep. It was a fun one. Have a good rest of your day, brother. We'll talk soon.